With you, Patrick. This is going to be awesome today. These teams played two kind of epic games last year, and we can't wait for round one of 2023. Let's talk about some of the stars in this game, starting with the reigning Ivy League Rookie of the Year, C.J. Kirst for Cornell.
C.J. Kirst led Cornell in goals last year. He is just a dynamic shooter. He has had a great year, still leading the team in points, but was looking for someone to give him that ball.
Last week for Yale, they beat Denver on this field, and a lot of the middies started to get involved in the scoring, including Brad Sharp.
Yeah, so far this year, Yale had really been seeing most of their offense coming from the attack, 50, 60% of it. Last week, only 25% of the goals from the attack, so these midfielders had to step up, and Brad Sharp led the way with 3 goals. Such a big body, he gets through, gets his hands free, and is a sniper.
Sharp had that hat trick. As you said, it was an 11-9 win for Yale against Denver, who is ranked 19th in the country. Coming into that game with the win, Yale jumped up from 11 to 8. Cornell dropped from number 3 to number 7 after losing 10-6 at home to Penn State. So both of these teams only one loss this year, both coming against the Nittany Lions. And the question today, who makes a statement and who starts 1-0 in the Ivy League? Opening face-off is controlled by the Big Red for a moment, but then Yale's able to scoop up the ground ball with Jack Stuzen. Quick attack and a shot fired wide from Leo Johnson.
Surprise Stuzen didn't take that shot. That's a beautiful, he's right in the center of the field and had his hands free, but looks for the unselfish pass to Leo Johnson.
Yale, a potent offensive attack. 7th in the nation in scoring offense. Here's Sharp whistling one over the bar. Cornell, conversely, though, 8th in the country in scoring defense. So it's what did we say last week? Kind of the same thing with Denver, the unstoppable force against the immovable object.
Well, and we really looked at kind of the pairings and that Yale's offense was stronger, Cornell's defense was stronger, and that defensively, Yale matched up well with Cornell's attack, but big news for the Cornell faithful is that Michael Long's back in the lineup today, so look if he can give that spark to the Big Red.
Long last year, 34 goals, 32 assists. Gonna look at him shortly. Half a minute to shoot, and Yale gives it away as Chase Erlin, the goalkeeper for Cornell, intercepts that pass. Obviously a familiar last name to Yale fans. Chase is a senior out of Victor, New York. Of course, the brother of the All-American T.D. Erlin. And Chase is starting his 41st career game for Cornell today. And we have a violation as Cornell could not get the clear. Took too much time, and there's that vaunted Yale ride, number 1 in the country in opponent clear percentage, and it rears its head early in this game.
Yeah, that really just went very quickly. I was really surprised to see Cornell kind of struggle with that, getting it that close.
Cornell does clear well, 91% as a team, but 0 for 1 to start the day. Second offensive set for the Bulldogs, led, of course, this year by Matt Brandow and Chris Lyons. Both have been absolutely outstanding. Lyons still number 1 in the country in goals per game. First shot coming for Lyons. It was stopped by Erlin, loose outside the crease. Erlin's got his stick on top of it, but everyone's still fighting for it here. And finally, the loose ball picked up by Jason Singer for the Big Red. As we said last week, the loss for Cornell against Penn State. They only scored 6 goals. It was their fewest in a game in nearly 7 years, and their head coach Connor Busick called it, what did he say, underwhelming, as they turn the ball over once again. Max Krevsky on the run for the Bulldogs. Krevsky score!
That is a tremendous individual effort by Krevsky, and I'm going to tell you, I had a message from Shane Thornton this morning at about 6 o'clock saying, watch out for Krevsky. He is a big body, he's a big guy, and he's going to make some moves on this offense today. Starts it with the defense, tremendous ride, gets the D-Midi, causes the turnover, and then does all the work himself.
Krevsky did not score in the first 3 games of the year. He had 2 goals against Denver, and he's got the first goal today. And a violation on the faceoff. That's been a big issue for Cornell this year. And Yale's going to have another possession. That's 4 possessions already for Yale, and Cornell has really not gotten the ball across midfield.
Yale coming in with a lot of intensity, but it's still just a 1-0 game. So can they keep this up and keep forcing Cornell into really challenging situations?
Here's Lyons giving it up for Johnny Kibe. The 11-9 win last week against Denver. A little bit of a different way for this team to win. More of a defensive effort than just outscoring you. Back-to-back games, only giving up 9 goals.
Talking to Coach Shea about that, he really kind of felt like they let some things slide there, that they were playing very young last week, and really wanted to see the guys mature and come into their own. And honestly, that's the same thing that Coach Busick said to us after their loss to Penn State.
Leo Johnson, under half a minute to shoot for the Bulldogs. Here's Lyons going to work in front, and a save by Erlin. What a stop. Yale gets it on the ground ball, though, but an intercept on the pass by Jack follows. Lyons ends up with it. Still with Chris Lyons. Diving, he scores! The nation's top goal scorer has his first, and it's 2-0 Bulldogs.
Chris Lyons, he is not going to be denied here. He gets that ball back. If at first you don't succeed, you try again, and that's identical to the move that he had made just a second ago. Dodging from X, getting a step, and just burying it past Erlin.
Goal number 19 for Chris Lyons, and after getting shut out last week against Denver, doesn't take him long to get on the board today.
Well, and you got to remember, Chris Lyons, last year in the Cornell game up in Ithaca, he didn't start. He hadn't played at that point. They were playing Will Cabrera at attack, and then he had his coming out party. He had 3 goals and really kind of made a name for himself and really transformed this Yale offense.
Well, finally, Cornell will get its first offensive set of the game. As Pat told you, Michael Long, number 1 for the Big Red, playing for the first time this year, 66 points a season ago. A lot of the attack for Cornell is back from last year, outside of course, their All-American and John Piatelli, who had 66 goals. Pass in front is low. Picked up, shooting and scoring is Hugh Kelleher. And that gets Cornell on the board.
Great job off the ground there. A little unsettled play. The pass wasn't going there, but it ends up with the ground ball. 2 Yale defenders going to get that ground ball, and it squirts right to Kelleher right in front.
Beats Jared Paquette, junior out of West Islip, New York, who is number 1 in the country in saves per game and 3rd in save percentage. He was unreal last week in the win against Denver. But it's Kelleher's first goal of the day and his 6th of the season. Nick Ramsey had the face-off, but pass got away, picked up by Mark Silos for Cornell. And the Big Red on the attack, looking to tie it up early. This Big Red group, of course, went to the national championship game last year, lost to Maryland, but coming off, a year without playing. What a season it was for Connor Busick in his first full year as the head coach of his alma mater, the youngest head coach in the country, 2015 graduate of Cornell.
Kind of wonder what Connor Busick can't do. He's the youngest. It's his 3rd year. He's still the youngest head coach in Division I lacrosse.
Good passing, and a shot is whistled well high there from J.J. Lombardi. 37 seconds to shoot. Here's Billy Coyle for the Big Red. Gets it up top, and that goes wide from Aiden Blake. One of a couple preseason All-Americans for Cornell. As you might guess, both these teams have a bunch of those. On the attack they come again. That rung off the post. Another good chance for Lombardi. Cornell continues with this possession, though.
Cornell doing a good job drawing those slides from behind and then finding the pass up top. So they're getting those open looks there. That second slide needs to come a little bit quicker for Yale.
40 to shoot for Coyle. Finds an open man, and they score. Aiden Blake evens the game at 2.
Great ball movement from the Cornell offense here. And so you see that dodge coming, a slide quick, and then that cross-field pass right through the lane for a time and room shot.
So Yale got the first 2. Cornell has the next 2. For Aiden Blake, his 3rd goal of the year. And again, the All-American defender Gavin Adler comes up with that ground ball, his 21st of the year. He is as good as it gets on the back end. And when we asked Coach Busick, what are you happiest about with your team through the first 5 games? He said our leadership on the back end.
And just a tremendous group back there. You've got Erlin, you've got Adler. They're just tremendous players.
You mentioned, again, Coach Busick and being the youngest D1 head coach in the country. It's funny, the dichotomy of coaches we've seen here the last 2 weekends as Paquette gets his first save on a diving Kelleher shot. Back to 60 on the clock. Of course, Bill Tierney was here last week for Denver in his final season. And Coach Busick all the way on the other end of the spectrum.
And I asked him about being a young coach and how, they always talk about how important it is having those young coaches.
Kerr switches hands. Paquette got the stop.
And they're going to call interference for Kelleher getting into Paquette's stick there. But talking to Coach Busick, we talk about how young coaches really can connect with their young players. And what are there any disadvantage in? He just said, the knowledge of just experience and being there. But he's a guy who's been here for a long time. He's been in Cornell for well over a decade and just knows the program, knows what goes on inside and out.
Thomas Bragg for the Bulldogs. For Matt Brandow, the All-American. Brandow 4th in the country in points per game this year. Approaching a lot of Yale records. He's 3rd in points, 5th in goals, 6th in assists in Yale history. Carson Kuhl finding space, and another save by Erlin. That one got him right in the chest. Didn't even have to move.
So what we're seeing a lot out of this Yale offense is we're seeing a lot of dodges from the midfield, creating space, but they're still taking 10, 12-yard shots.
Unsettled situation, and Walker Wallace was wide open.
It's a big goal for Walker Wallace. And the ball in transition, Wallace stays in there and no one stays with him. And he's able to finish in close on Paquette.
3 in a row for the Big Red. 6:34 to go, first quarter. Cornell up 3-2 on the road.
These Bulldogs are the top dogs. Auburn, Auburn 5 winner. Princeton into the round of 32. National NCAA Women's Rugby Championship in the Big Green of Dartmouth. It's over. That will do it. The Brown Bears and the Lions walk off. And Cornell will play a championship Monday.
Half. 1 and 2. 2 and 4. Half of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So let's retire inequality. Let's step forward together and let's rise together because dignity, security, retirement is for all.
3-2 lead for Cornell. They've scored 3 straight goals, but Nick Ramsey gets the face-off win for Yale, trying to keep it, and a flag is out. And this is going to be against the Big Red. Justin Galanti, Pat Reed, glad to be with you on a great day. It's alumni weekend, so a packed house here. And we'll get our first look now at the Yale extra man after this whistle.
And we're seeing a little view of the hold here. And that was just a very clear hold. Nick Ramsey doing a great job on the faceoffs today. Was up, I think that's 5-1 on the faceoff wins there. So really being able to establish that dominance. They are both teams that came in right around 40% winning their faceoffs. So that's a huge, if he can keep that advantage up for the whole game, something that Yale really kind of needs today.
So we get our first look at the Yale EMO unit, which has struggled this year to the tune of 1 for 14. Bragg for Johnson. Another flag is out. Bragg again for Johnny Kai. Bragg fires. Erling got a piece of it. And the loose ball is picked up by Adler, and now we'll get the call. Looks like it'll go against Christopher Davis for Cornell. And Yale's going to go right back up a man.
So it's going to be a 30-second interference call.
And look at this. Erlin is down right now, Pat, after that last sequence and being checked on by the athletic training staff from Cornell. He has played and started every game this year, and as we said, the senior started 11 games all the way back in 2019, all 5 games in 2020, all 19 games last year, all 6 games now this year. So needless to say, not a lot of experience behind Chase Erlin.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's always a tense moment when any player goes down on the field and the training staff has to come over, and it didn't look like there was a lot of contact in there. And with the officials kind of in our view, you can't really see what they're looking at. I would assume it's something lower body. Just hoping that in a couple of seconds we see him pop up. And he's getting up a little gingerly and coming off of the field.
And entering for Cornell is going to be the sophomore in Wyatt Noost. And Erlin being helped off the field here.
Glad to see him walking off on his own weight.
So here we go, Yale back up a man, and quickly Kaib off the post. Second appearance of the year for Wyatt Noost, by the way, as the Cornell side is not happy, and they're going to get the call here as Yale was offside.
Wow, the Cornell bench saw that. I didn't even see who went offside, but Cornell bench saw it really quick, and that's a big play. You know, you've got a goalie coming straight off of the bench into a 2-man up situation, and a heads up by the Cornell team.
So back to even strength, under 5.5 to go in the first quarter. Cornell gets back-to-back stops, a man down, and now they go on the offensive attack once again.
And those self-inflicted wounds from a team like Yale that's still a very young team.
There's Aiden Blake, who has one of the goals today. He moves in. Blake shoots and scores.
Aiden Blake stepping up when his team needs it. Gets a great dodge right across the field. And no help coming. And he's just able to get his hands free. Kind of a small angle there, but he's just able to rip that right past Paquette.
So second of the game for Aiden Blake. And Cornell has scored 4 in a row. Again, playing with Wyatt Nust in goal right now. The sophomore out of Tampa, clean face-off win. Angelo Petrakis just wide. Big Red able to back it up though. They are humming offensively at the moment and have seized momentum in this game, Pat.
One of the things Coach Busick talked about was being good off of the ground. And right now, Cornell is really owning the ground balls. They really, Yale needs to focus a little bit less on the contact, more on getting that ball into their stick if they want to stay in this game.
Good pace, good environment so far. Kelleher. Ryan Sheehan and now Spencer Wertheim. Cornell, 6'4" advantage in those ground balls. They're 7th in the country in that category per game. Long gives this one up. Under 30 seconds to shoot. Kelleher for Billy Coyle. Now it's Long, shooting one while falling down, missed well wide. And only 14 seconds to shoot now for Cornell.
Still a lot of time.
DeMuth is defending Coyle. Coyle shoots, and that is a goal. Off Paquette's leg, and it's snuck in the net, and it's 5 in a row for the Big Red.
And just a great question mark move. Turns around, just gets his step, and sneaks it inside the post on Paquette. And we saw this last week. It'll be interesting to see if things kind of develop the same way. Last week, Paquette, I don't think he had any saves in the first quarter, and then came back and had a tremendous game. So is he going to warm up as the game goes on? I think the Yale coaching staff and Yale fans are really hoping that he does.
Ramsey again on the face-off with Petrakis, who did not play last week against Penn State. He gets the ball and draws a call here. Brandow kicks it along. Yale still trying to pick it up, and Ramsey finally does, and we will get the call with 3:28 to go in the first quarter. We didn't have this as the situation last week. Yale got off to a pretty good start against Denver, but the previous 3 games, Yale was down after the first quarter. In each of those games, they were able to win 2 of them, but again today, falling behind early at home.
And this is the story that Yale had last year with when they played Cornell. Up at Cornell, the down 7-1 in the first quarter, and then were able to drag back in and make it a 13-12 game. But this is not where Yale wants to be right now, digging themselves into a deeper hole, losing possessions, and then
right in front, a shot wide from Kirst, his first shot of the game.
And this man-up offense for Cornell is lethal.
6 for 14 so far this year. Yale is 10 for 19, killing these off. 10 seconds left on the EMO.
Cornell running out a 2-2-2 set and 2 guys in the crease and then filtering a guy in and a guy out. And now they're in a...
Pass across is off of Long's stick. We're back to even strength, and it's going to be Yale ball. Good defensive set from Andy Shea's team, 19th season for the 2018 national champion Andy Shea. As Paquette was a little bit hesitant with that pass. Turns into a big loose ball. Patrick Hackler able to pick it up, but Yale's going to have to get this across midfield very quickly.
And they may not. Oh, just heave it down the field.
That's a turnover.
And that's just, Paquette is not having, his head is not in the right place right now with focusing on the game. He passed to a guy who's standing right next to him who's covered. It's just one of those passes that's it's not gonna end well.
As Patrick mentioned, last year in the regular season, Cornell beat Yale 13-12, but the Bulldogs got the Big Red back in the Ivy League semifinal. A 14-11 win for the Bulldogs. Cornell did go on to make it to the national championship game, though. 8th time they've gone to the title game, but the first in a bunch of years as Spencer Wertheim makes it a 6-0 Cornell run.
Another great little dodge, gets down, rolls, comes back, gets his hands free, hits Paquette, hits a couple pipes, and it goes in. And so now we're going to see Mac Rodriguez at the faceoff.
And more good news for Cornell is that Erlin's back in the net, ran right back on the field after that goal. Wertheim gets his second of the season, and the Big Red have turned a 2-0 deficit into a 6-2 lead with under 2 to go in the first quarter. And they are dominating the faceoffs right now as Walker Wallace, who scored his first career goal earlier, comes up with that ground ball. And we are going to get a timeout taken by Connor Busick.
Connor Busick with a smart timeout there. You have a pole, everybody's being locked off. You've got a pole covering a pole, and you know a turnover is going to come. So call that timeout there, control that possession, and try to keep with this momentum. You're in a good place. You know, you're on a 6-goal run. For a guy who said yesterday, he doesn't necessarily have the knowledge. He plays a lot with his gut. He coaches a lot with his gut. That's a great gut call, but that's the right call right there.
So you look at the Yale huddle, and Coach Shea talking with his guys, as it's been a little bit of a slow start here at home. Down 6-2. Reminds you a little of the Penn State game where Yale got down big early. But the Bulldogs have been able to come back a bunch of times. They're really good on their home field, taking on this 7th-ranked Cornell team that already has as many goals as it did last week in the whole game against Penn State. There you see Paquette, number 1 in the country in saves per game, coming in 3rd in save percentage, 15-6 in his career as a starter here in New Haven. So here we go out of the timeout. And C.J. Kirst with the ball in his stick. 22 goals and 7 assists for Kirst. He and Lyons are the top 2 goal scorers per game in the country coming in. Lyons has 1, Kirst with nothing yet. Coyle finding a little free space. Good ball movement from the Big Red. A push, but no flag. A shot and a goal. Michael Long's first of the year. Welcome back. It is 7-2 Cornell.
And great to see Michael Long back, being able to finish there. I think Coach Busick was probably saying, "Don't jump on him. Don't jump. Let's keep him healthy." But a great shot. Got the Yale defense rotating on the slides, and then they were able to put it away. And now Yale had that big advantage in the faceoffs, and it's gone back. It was 5-1, and now it's 4-1. Now it's Cornell again with another one.
And Petrakis is winning a lot of these clean. Last year, honorable mention, all Ivy League, had struggled to start this season. Coming into today, he was only winning 31% of faceoffs. He didn't play against Penn State last week, but he's rolling so far. 4 for 4 on the faceoffs, and Cornell can hold for the final shot of this first quarter, up 7-2. Coach Busick called his team's performance last week against Penn State underwhelming. I think he has to be overwhelmingly happy with the way they've played so far today on the road.
This was a gut check. They lost that game, felt like they should have won it, and now they're really just stepping up and making the plays.
Andrew Dalton. Down to 12 seconds left in the first quarter. Finds a free man in Coyle. Kirsch trying to make something happen. He scores! A laser from C.J. Kirst with 1 second to go.
And that is just tremendous. You see miscommunication by the Yale defense. Thought there was going to be a pick. Short time there. Don't leave your guy. Just stay with him. You got to stay on that ball there. And Yale gives up the goal with 1.7 seconds left. Cornell, everything is going right so far.
Second assist for Coyle of the first quarter, also has a goal. And an avalanche from the visitors. 8 consecutive goals. And the 7th-ranked team in the country with a 6-goal lead after 1 quarter of play. Cornell 8, Yale 2, and we'll be back in just a moment. You're watching College Lacrosse on ESPN+.
It's the greatest combination of academics you can get in a university, and it's really humbling being surrounded by so many like-minded people.
It's an institution with a lot of history.
Now I'm in this place where I know how to balance my life, and it's great.
Here, there is such a focus on academics and athletics, and so you get to play at a really high level, but you also get to be in the classroom at a really high level.
It's been special to throw on this color every day. It's been something I'm very grateful for.
As an athlete, for many of us, it remains a part of your identity really for the rest of your life. I was fortunate enough to have many people there helping me during my athletic career, and so to now be able to give that back to my patients, to be able to help them, is incredibly fulfilling.
Back at Reese Stadium in New Haven, an 8-2 lead for Cornell after the first quarter. And as you might expect with programs like this, they have met a lot in big games. 84th all-time meeting, Cornell a significant lead, but Yale has won 6 of the last 8, Pat, and a lot of those have come in the postseason.
Yeah, they've been just a tremendous matchup, and well, you know, over 100 years of matchups. And I'm surprised that there wasn't a call there on that push.
It is out of bounds, though, against Cornell, as Brendan Staub couldn't keep it in. And Yale's going to get, honestly, its first possession in a long time after giving up the final 8 goals of the first quarter, trying to get back on track here. Lyons and Krevsky with the goals for the Bulldogs in this game.
And right now I feel like, well, you see Brad Sharp wants the ball.
Sharp has it, fires wide.
Brad Sharp liked his matchup there, so he wanted to go. He was going after Box, the freshman short stick D midi from Cornell. Definitely a size advantage there. But at this point, we got to see this Yale attack get the ball. They need to get the ball and start creating something for this offense.
Lyons switches hands, shoots and scores. Number 2 for Chris Lyons. It's 8-3.
Chris Lyons not happy with his performance last week. Gets up top, he just gets a dodge and is able to get a step on Staub and right in the center of the field. That's where you want to create that shot, so you're going to have the best angle on the goal.
Lions had 9 goals against Villanova, 4 against Penn State, 5 in the UMass game. Again, held off the board last week, but 2 today. Violation on the face-off against Cornell, and Yale gets the ball right back. Really no issues with the Bulldog offense today. It's just not having enough possessions to this point.
They've been all right. They had, you know, we looked at Cornell was able to force some long possessions that didn't really provide some good shots, and so that Yale offense does need to find a way to keep the ball and create more offense.
Sharp gets free. Erlin makes the save. Big hit there, and Yale gets the ball right back. Good recovery by Sharp as Cornell fails to clear.
And the Cornell fans not happy with that play, saying that that check was on the head.
Top 2 ranked teams in the Ivy League in the conference opener today. 8-3 Cornell lead, 2 minutes into the second quarter. Johnny Kaib fakes the pass, keeps it, and Kaib forced outside. Now it's Brad Sharp going to work. Spinning. Sharp for Leo Johnson. In front. What a pass, but the shot is wide from Krevsky. Good job by Sharp, though, to dive and back it up.
That's one Krevsky wants back. But you're going to see Yale sub off their middies now, keep them fresh, look to really pressure this Cornell defense.
Johnson gets a step and scores. There's the speed of the sophomore Leo Johnson.
Leo Johnson, another Yale player who was a little bit quiet last week, gets follows one-on-one, no help there, and you got to come and slide to Leo Johnson. He is a tremendous Dodger.
6th of the year for Johnson. Had 35 goals as a first year last season. Former top 10 recruit in the country. And it's back to 8-4, and Mac Rodriguez doing a great job since coming in for Yale. Wins another faceoff, but the pass got away from the long stick of Jack Stuzen, and Cornell gets it back.
And now Yale riding hard, trying to cause that turnover.
Ryan Sheehan able to get it across midfield for the Big Red. Got to the national title game last year for the first time since '09. First Final Four since 2013. Just barely came up short, a 9-7 loss against the Maryland Terrapins. Ranked 3rd in the country last week, lost to Penn State, now 7th coming into today, taking on 8th-ranked Yale. Here's Hugh Kelleher, had a little room, gives it up, good pass for Kirst, who scores.
And it looks like we're following a similar pattern to what we saw in that first quarter, where we had 2 Yale goals, a real kind of dominant performance, and then Cornell stops the bleeding and is able to turn it around. Great job by Kirst, getting that ball, just catching inside, turning and finishing.
Kirst last year, U.S. Lacrosse and Inside Lacrosse. Honorable mention, All-American, the Ivy League Rookie of the Year, had 55 goals and 24 assists, and has to even take a bigger step this year with the 66 goals of John Piatelli graduating, and he's done it. Prior to the year, Connor Busick said, you know, you don't just go in the locker room and find 66 goals, but at least to this point, Kirst with 24 already this year. J.J. Lombardi's pass knocked down. Good play by Jake Cohen. Cohen's dad, David, played football at Cornell. His son's playing lacrosse against the Big Red today, but a turnover forced by Aiden Blake.
And that's an area where, listen, Yale's attack needs to get that ball on their stick. They need to. I understand they're clearing out of his way. You've got to pull with 2 guys trailing him. Get the ball out of his stick. Get the ball in your attackman stick so you can create something on the offensive end.
Lombardi being defended by the long stick of Michael Garchi-Terena. 4.5 gone in the second quarter. Coyle hit off a body, and Cornell's going to keep it. Up 9-4. Led it 8-2 after the first quarter.
And now Cornell subbing out, trying to get some fresh legs on there, wear down this Yale defense.
The marquee win this year for Cornell. Went on the road, beat then number 9 Ohio State. 16-13, that's their 1-ranked victory. They're hoping to add 1 today, as that one's fired wide by Long. And obviously, whoever wins this game starts well in Ivy League play, and you would think is going to take a pretty big jump in the polls. Coyle across for Hugh Kelleher. Nice move by Kelleher, but a save is made by Paquette. 4th of the game, trying to do what he's been doing all year, and that's get better as the days go along.
And that's his best save on the day.
Dalton forced to give it up. Long stays out of the crease, bounces it in. Number 2 for Michael Long in his season debut.
Great ISO move there on Jake Cohen, and just got to step on him with no help there. And Jake Cohen's been doing a good job so far today, but a great shot there, a nice bounce shot to get it past Paquette.
So Cornell has restored the 6-goal lead it had at the end of the first quarter. Still Mac Rodriguez on the face-off for Yale against Petrakis, who is 5 for 6 today. Rodriguez did come in and make an impact last week, going 4 of 8 against Alex Strathakis from Denver, who's one of the best in the country on the face-offs, but this ball knocked out of his stick. Billy Coyle trying to scoop that up, and does, and secures the possession. Kirst is wide open.
And this, we're looking at this kind of a first quarter all over again. A great ground ball for Cornell. Creates a situation where you've got nobody seeing Kirst on that back door. Wide open in front of the net. And the Cornell fans starting with their Let's Go Red chant. So can Nick Ramsey come in and try to slow things down and get that ball back for that Yale offense?
Well, he violates, and Cornell's going to get another possession here. Kirst now with 3 goals today. He had an 11-point game a couple weeks ago against Hobart. His team up by 7 right now. And here's kind of a crazy thing when you talk about Yale as a whole. We are nearly midway through the second quarter, and how many times have we said Matt Brandau's name today? Once?
I don't know that we have. And we need to see who's going to step up for Yale to try to slow that pace for Cornell, because Cornell is just controlling things.
Big hit after the whistle there from Christian Johnson, who was already getting called for a penalty. And the Big Red get the shot clock reset to 60. 4 points for Coyle, 3 for Kirst today. Paquette gets the save that time. It'll stay with Cornell. And we're going to have a timeout taken by Andy Shea on the Yale sideline. 8 minutes, 8 seconds to go, second quarter. And the Big Red up by 7.
Let's go.
It's brief. You might like that one. But when it's gone, love goes on and on.
That's it?
Yeah. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer makes it easy to compare home insurance options.
Man, I told my wife I'd be in here for hours. What do we do now?
Quote Explorer. What you do afterwards is up to you.
Oh, I was actually just thinking I would take a nap. Pretty tired.
Okay.
Hey, fellas.
Hey, Gus. Gus, settle something for us. What do you think is the best way to scratch off the new Millionaire Maker from the PA Lottery?
With top prizes of $1 million? I'd say as fast as you can. Keep on scratching.
White Sox, Astros, opening night, March 30th on ESPN.
The unbelievable is everywhere. Welcome to the playoff push.
Cornell up 11-4 with the ball, nearly midway through the second quarter. Justin Galanti, Pat Reed with you in New Haven. Out of the Andy Shea timeout, Cornell trying to go to work offensively, but Stuzen causes the turnover, took it right away from Aiden Blake, and maybe that's the momentum shift that Coach Shea is trying to design here.
Well, and they needed something. There's been a long time since Yale was able to really stop a possession and create that turnover and get the ball or get some kind of a stop and turn it to offense.
Offensively, 2 goals for Lions, 1 for Krevsky, 1 for Johnson today. Lions trying to add another, but Chase Erlin makes the stop. Remember, left the game earlier, was slow to come off. His left ankle got taped pretty heavily, and he's back in and gets his 6th save already. And Cornell's had no problems with that Yale ride today. Michael Long gives it up. Kerr streaking in, and Paquette makes the stop.
And that's a huge save for Paquette. And you looked at that last play, that last Yale offensive possession, a very quick possession, where Lions took a quick shot and it was turned around. So this is one. Yale's got to let their middies come in, settle in on the offense, give their defense a break because they've been playing for a long time, and then go attack and put a ball in the net.
Here's Matt Brandow. The All-American shoots wide. Backed up by Johnson with 6:09 to go in the second quarter. And we're going to have another timeout. This one taken by Connor Busick. So 6:09 to go here in the second quarter. And both of today's games here at Reese Stadium are promoted by the One Love Foundation. One Love's mission is to educate young people about healthy and unhealthy relationships and empower them to avoid abuse. Learn more at joinonelove.org. 2 games today in New Haven. The men's team obviously playing Cornell at the moment. Later on today, the women's team will take on the Temple Owls.
One Love, a wonderful organization, founded in the memory of Yardley Love, a University of Virginia lacrosse player.
Well, when you tell the tale of this first half, Cornell winning 11 of the 17 faceoffs and being perfect clearing is a big reason why they're up by 7. Yale looking to cut into that deficit, though. They're used to scoring a flurry of goals in a short amount of time. Trying to get this more manageable going into the break.
Well, that perfect clearing, we missed that first one. It was right at the beginning of the game. They didn't clear it across in under 60 seconds.
Cool misses wide. And this one picked up by Brendan Staub, and Cornell gets the ball back.
Another ground ball for Cornell. Just another nail, one more that Yale has to get these ground balls. You can't stay in a game with Cornell. You can't dig your way back into a game if you're not getting some of these ground balls.
Cornell has 16 ground balls. Yale has 8 today. Here's Follows, had it knocked out of his stick, and Paquette picks it up. So the Yale defense has picked it up these last couple possessions. Gotten a few stops in a row.
But those are also, if you're looking at what's happening right now, you're seeing Cornell taking risks that they probably don't take if they don't have a 7-goal lead. Follows isn't going to drive in there with, into the middle of the field having to go backhand if they're not up that many goals.
5 minutes to go in the first half. Hackler for Brandow. Johnny Kibe for Sharp. And now Hackler once again. Just about a half minute to shoot. Leo Johnson's got a goal today. Dangerous pass in front to nobody, and it's picked up by Adler. First team All-American last year, Gavin Adler, with another ground ball and a stop for the Big Red.
And a quick clear there for Cornell to get their offense in. And so we've seen a couple of possessions here where Yale has had the possessions and hasn't been able to make anything happen. Those are, the minutes tick by.
Blake in front, and Michael Long scores. First game of the year and a hat trick for Michael Long.
Great ball movement by Cornell. A nice off-ball cut. Just getting a step on his defender there, DeMuth. And able to get his hands free and shoot.
12-4 Big Red. Trying to bounce back from the 10-6 loss against Penn State last week at home. They already have doubled that goal total in less than a half. And Angelo Petrakis has been a big reason why Cornell has a big lead in this game. But they turn it over here, and Yale gets the ball back, trying to move quickly with an unsettled situation. Instead, now Stuzen pulls it out.
Yeah, Petrakis there a little, I think what they were calling was a little too much pressure there from Stuzen, so he chested the ball, and I think that's what they called to give that possession back to Yale.
Shot goes wide from Jack Monfort. Johnson backs it up. All 4 goals for Yale in this game have been unassisted. 2 for Lyons, 1 for Johnson, 1 for Krevsky. Brad Sharp had a hat trick last week. Now it's Johnson and Sharp again. Brandow fires this well high. Just over 3 to go in the second quarter. 10 shots on goal for Yale so far, 18 for Cornell.
Yale shooting has been off today.
Monfort spinning with it. Almost lost his balance, gets the pass away, and Bragg's stop was kicked away by Erlin. Shot, I should say. Shot clock does reset to 60, though.
Thomas Bragg just lethal from the outside, just probably one of, if not the hardest shooter in college lacrosse right now.
Good pass for Johnson. Erlin made another save. Chase Erlin starting to take over. 8 saves for the brother of the former Yale All-American.
I got to say, I think TD might have been giving his brother some insight into what goes on in New Haven.
Probably told him where to get pizza yesterday.
Come on, everybody knows.
2 minutes to go in the first half. Wertheim. Kelleher had a little trouble with the low pass, but Cornell's going to be able to get this easily. Wertheim once again. Senior out of Baldwinsville, New York, has a goal today. Hugh Kelleher working against Brett Molly. Ball movement finds Long again. Michael Long shooting. Paquette made the stop, lost his balance, and Molly comes up with the ground ball. Threw it right back in front of his own net. And what a play there by Monfort to, while falling to the ground, get it over to a teammate.
Yeah, but that used up a lot of time. Yale's got to get that ball across. They're down to 64 seconds.
Got to do it quickly here, and barely they do.
Wow.
Christian Johnson looked simultaneous. Now he comes all the way in. His shot was blocked. Fight for the ground ball once again, and Gavin Adler's got it. Christopher Davis on the run. Good pass in front. Nope, it wasn't. It was a little high. A turnover. And let's see if Yale just tries to hold for the last shot of the second quarter, as this game's gotten a little bit up and down for the two teams, let's say. 30 seconds to go in the first half, one that has been owned by the visitors.
Gavin Adler just doing such an amazing job on Brandow.
Krevsky. Good movement here. Hackler's shot is stopped. Erlin again doing the split. Still time for Cornell, 10 seconds. Box trying to find an opening, takes a lick, and no call on it. So the first half is going to end with one more save for Chase Erlin. A 10-save half for Erlin, 12 goals on the board for the Big Red. And at the end of 30 minutes of play, it's Cornell 12 and Yale 4.
Mom. Please? Girls, pets are a big expense.
Maybe try switching your car insurance to Progressive. You could save hundreds.
Thanks, TV Dad. We'll think about it, okay?
Look what I found.
Oh, puppy!
Oh, no.
I wish TV Dad was always in charge.
Listen to your TV Dad. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save nearly $700 on average.
Hey, fellas.
Hey, Gus. Gus, settle something for us. What do you think is the best way to scratch off the new millionaire maker from the PA lottery?
With top prizes of $1 million? I'd say as fast as you can. Keep on scratching.
Make a move in the most electrifying Honda vehicles yet. Like the CR-V and Accord, with available hybrid powertrains designed for more responsive performance and more advanced tech. When you drive a Honda, you're driving with the 2022 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. Get moving and find the Honda for you. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
Capitals Penguins, Saturday on ABC and ESPN+.
Halftime in New Haven, and certainly a statement through the first half hour of play by Cornell, a 12-4 lead over Yale at the break. Justin Galanti, Pat Reed, our entire outstanding crew, glad you're with us on a beautiful Saturday afternoon for the Ivy League opener. It's always a great day when, league play starts, and let's look at what the voters thought of the Ivy League coming into the season. Cornell, the favorite. Princeton, Yale, Penn, Harvard, Brown, Dartmouth, all of these schools have either been ranked or received votes at some time this year. But, if you're being frank about it, the Ivy League's kind of struggled in the non-conference outside of Cornell, Yale, and Dartmouth.
Absolutely. They've really big season out of Penn State, kind of taking it to 3 Ivy contenders. And so you've seen that difficulty on the out-of-conference schedule. But in conference, listen, I guess we got it right with that Cornell at number 1, the way they're
Can we get a puppy, Mom?
Please?
Stats and highlights. And
how ground balls matter and how many
minutes away from the start of the second half in New Haven. A 12-4 lead for Cornell over Yale. And Pat Reed, let's look back at the highlights from the first 30 minutes of play. It was Yale that got out to a 2-0 lead, and then after that, it was all the visitors. Went on that 9-0 run and end up 8 at the break.
Max Krevsky caused the turnover on the clear and then does all the work himself. And then Cornell just seizing on those opportunities, those ground balls. Coaches always love to talk about how ground balls matter and how many big-time plays Cornell's gotten off of those ground balls. But every facet of the game, the middies are getting steps on the short stick D middies for Yale. The ball movement all over the place for Cornell, able to just put the ball past your Paquette 12 times in the first half.
Billy Coyle had a 5-point first half, a goal and 4 assists. C.J. Kirsch with 3 goals. And how about Michael Long in his first game of the season with 3 goals in the first half? On the Yale side, Chris Lyons with a pair of goals. And Leo Johnson and Max Krevsky each had 1. Chase Erlin with 10 saves for Cornell, 7 for Jared Paquette on the Yale side. And those are the numbers so far. And, the face-offs tell a big story, but we've been talking about the ground balls a lot as well. 21-11, the advantage in that category for the Big Red.
Yeah, and looking to see those face-off wins are just such a huge part of it. A 2-1 advantage for Cornell, and just getting possessions and getting this offense more and more times with the ball. Yale's got to do something. They traditionally were a really great face-off team. You had guys like Cole Yeager, Dylan Levings, Connor Mackey, T.D. Erlin, and now Nick Ramsey's got and Mac Rodriguez got to find a way to produce at the midfield.
Ramsey in the first half was 4 for 10. Rodriguez was 2 for 8. Petrakis 7 for 8 for Cornell, and Mark Silos was 5 for 8. Jack Kaskinen was 0 for 2. And as we start the second half, first faceoff is picked up by Jack Monfort for Yale. And they're going to go quickly here, try and get off to a good start. Monfort, though, misses wide.
And you've seen a lot of this from Yale, a lot of looks, but just not able to bury the shot. I'll be curious to see Matt Brandow right now, longest streak. I hate doing that to guys, but talking about the longest streak in Division I of games with goals. He's shut out in the first half. Is he going to get the ball? Does he want to call his own number and go up against Adler? Because he's been very quiet this first half.
2 first-team All-Americans going at each other today. Lions pass across, good skip, but Erlin makes the stop on Johnny Kibe. Erlin's made 11 saves today, his season high 21 last week against Penn State. So even in the 10-6 loss, he made 21 saves that day.
And just everywhere on the field, Cornell is having a day.
Hugh Kelleher trying to go to work.
Nice help slide there from Patrick Hackler to slow Kelleher down.
Wertheim spinning back, shooting, he scores. What a tough angle for Spencer Wertheim, second of the day.
A great job. You see the Yale defenseman fall down, and then he's just able to get a step. And you talk about the stick having eyes and being able to see that stick, even though your body is just right at goal line extended, that stick is 2 yards up, and being able to put that ball in the net.
Largest lead of the game now for the Big Red, and a clean face-off win for Silos. Quickly, Silos scores.
And this is gut check time for the Bulldogs. I don't recall ever seeing Yale just run over like this. So I've done every home game since our first game was 12 years ago, I think tomorrow. And I haven't seen a team come out and really just railroad Yale like this. They've always played close games.
Mac Rodriguez wins it clean. He shoots and scores. Right back at you, says the sophomore.
And now Petrakis is going back in to face off. And can he do the same thing against Petrakis, who's has had a great game so far after not seeing action last week?
First career goal for Machado Rodriguez. Quickly back to 14-5. By the way, Cornell's season high for goals, 17 against Hobart. 14 so far today. Yale has scored at least 11 goals in every game. Only at 5 right now, but another possession as Rodriguez won the faceoff. And here's that Brandow-Adler matchup. Carson Kuhl. Pass got knocked down and taken by Brendan Staub. That is only the 7th turnover for Yale. Cornell has 11 of them, but seems like they've come at important times.
Yeah, and that's just a head scratcher for me because Kuhl's running in. They got a substitution, and they had Cornell trailing, so he's got an open look there. I'm just not sure why he doesn't wind up and take that shot.
J.J. Lombardi for Michael Long. What a welcome sight for Cornell fans to see Long back. And even better that he had 3 goals in the first half.
And this is a perfect storm for this Cornell team right now. You've got a loss that gets everybody angry.
Loose ball here, and what's the call going to be? A hold against Cornell, and it's Yale ball.
And I got to tell you, I do love the women's game with the quick restart there. That you don't give the defense. The defense does something wrong, and in men's lacrosse, we give them that time to get back in and get ahead of you. Let them restart it. Let them get moving. Get that ball ahead. Create that advantage.
Leo Johnson. Feels like one of these guys not named Brandow is going to have to step up for Yale here in the second half. How about Johnson? Erlin, another save. 12 for Chase Erlin.
I don't know if Brandow is not 100% for some reason, but it has to be him. You know, you are the spark plug for your team. You need to step up right now, and you need to call for that ball and go head on with Gavin Adler. Draw him out, go one-on-one, and show him whether if you are a Tewaaraton candidate, or you show him that you should be the Tewaaraton winner.
Just over 4 gone by in the third quarter. Kelleher gets a step. Cursed. Didn't have a shooting lane. Thought he was going to fire it. Decided not to. Less than half a minute to shoot for the Big Red. Michael Long. Kelleher thinking about it. Kelleher and a big save by Paquette.
And that rebound goes to Cornell.
Coyle. Paquette, another stop. Rebound, and another shot went wide. I believe it was behind the back from Sheehan. And Yale ends up with the stop. Sheehan picked up that ground ball right outside the crease and shot it behind his back, all in one motion. But Yale averts, giving up the goal. Cornell has increased its halftime lead by 1.
Adler switched off of Brandow.
And he gets the ball. Krevsky for Brandow. Dangerous pass. Good catch by Lyons, but Erlin makes another save.
Wow, he is just seeing the ball so well.
The last 2 games now, Chase Erlin has made 34 saves and only given up 15 goals. Obviously, though, one of those a loss to Penn State. His team is up by 9 goals on the road today against Yale. Lombardi for Billy Coyle. Now it's Blake. Under 30 to shoot here. Long on the swim move. And now J.J. Lombardi again.
And he wants it back. He's got a shorty. He's got Jack Oaken there.
Blake tried to feed it across. Lombardi, what a catch, what a shot. And it's a 10-goal lead for the Big Red.
Cornell just putting on a clinic with the shooting, being able to draw slides and create open looks across the field. That's a great handle and a great finish.
Rodriguez, another win on the faceoff. Largest lead of the day right now for the Big Red. Brandow just tiptoes the sideline, trying to get things set up. You know, if you had told either of us before the game any number of results today, we'd probably believe you, but I don't think either of us would have thought 15-5 at this point for either team.
No. These teams looked very evenly matched on paper.
Here's Brad Sharp for Yale. And Cornell's profile coming in was defense, which has been great today. They've only given up 5, but they've scored 15. And Kibe's shot is stopped by Erlin once again. Right now, Yale just cannot beat Chase Erlin. Lyons will give it a go. He misses wide. Bulldogs team coming in, scoring 15 goals a game, 7th in the country. Brad Sharp off the pick, finds his way in front, and is that going to be a crease violation? They're going to talk about it, and yep, it is. No goal.
Well, that would have looked good. I'd love to see a replay on that to see if I know he's going to want to watch it in the film.
Didn't seem like there was too much of an argument from anybody on the Yale side. And it stays 15-5 here in the third quarter. Justin Galanti, Pat Reed, our entire outstanding crew. Glad you're with us today at Reese Stadium in New Haven. Top 10 matchup and the Ivy League opener for Yale and Cornell. Hugh Kelleher taking a little contact. Now it's Billy Coyle. Wertheim with 2 today. And the call is going to go against the Big Red. Their 13th turnover, and Yale gets it back.
A moving pick there on Cornell.
Anything that stands out for you that you might want to see adjusted for Yale offensively?
Like I don't think that I've seen Matt Brandow dodge. You know, if he doesn't think that he can beat Gavin Adler, have somebody set a pick, dodge, but set a pick for him. Just do something to create something on offense, because the team just needs to see that he can do something. Erlin is stopping everything, so you just need somebody that's going to make a play.
Krevsky trying to do just that. Hackler shoots wide. 30 seconds on the shot clock for Yale.
And here comes Brandow.
Matt Brandow. No points yet today. 4th in Yale history with 200 for his career. Adler knocked it out. He scoops it to Lyons, but he missed wide. 8 to shoot for Yale. Johnson, Lyons took a bump in the back, no call. Cornell gets the stop.
Listen, I got to tell you, they've been letting him play a little bit, but that cross check on Matt Brandow there, that's a questionable one that the officials they needed to throw something there. It was just a vicious cross check. And that's probably we don't want to say refs make a makeup call, but the hit on box in the end of the first half that I know Coach Busick was not happy with.
Here's Andrew Dalton. Gets the pick. Lombardi for Aiden Blake. Kirst in front. He scores! It's a wave of Big Red. 16-5. Cornell on the road. Four goals today for C.J. Kirst, and he extends the Big Red advantage to 11. (16-5) Cornell.
Great seats at a great price. get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeartRadio. TicketSmarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale, all backed with the TicketSmarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think TicketSmarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed, at TicketSmarter.com.
This letter is for you. From what I hear, you're supposed to be the next Tom Brady. You're not the next Tom Brady. You're the next you. Compare yourself to nobody but the kid in the mirror. The one who knows that who you are today is just a piece of who you're going to become. Sincerely, Tom. You wrote this.
Yeah.
16-5, Cornell on top of Yale, 4:06 to go in the third quarter. Big Red, a dominant performance so far in the road, but it has been such a change from last week for Cornell. Could not score against Penn State at home, and they've seemed unstoppable so far today on the road. Able to come up with this loose ball. It's Jack Follows. And Cornell gets the ball again.
Two great cause turnovers by the defense on both sides.
5 assists today for Billy Coyle. Now 8 on the year to go with 14 goals and a 4-goal day for CJ Kirst. He's now over 80 for his career. Last year's Ivy League Rookie of the Year.
And this game just, it doesn't look like Yale. And you see Puckett way out there, had the ball, ends up on the ground. Cornell ends up coming up with that ground ball again. It just doesn't seem like the Yale that we've seen over the last couple of years. And even this year, it's just they're not able to do the little things today. And that's not anything other than Cornell really just having a day and outworking them.
Hugh Kelleher makes a move. Spins back. Kelleher's shot was blocked. Good defense by Stuzen as well as Garchi Terena. And Stuzen just throws it away, going down. Ball was going to go out of bounds, so he had to make a desperation effort. Instead, Cornell getting the ball back now. The Big Red are threatening to throw the knockout punch here in the third quarter.
Listen, I think the knockout punch already came through. I think they're at the please stop hitting them time where this is one of those things where this is going to be one of those games that the Yale guys, sometimes you say throw it away, throw the tape away, and this is going to be one of those ones where you just kind of think about it and let it eat at you so that when you play in the Ivy League tournament again, if you play in the Ivy League tournament again, it gives you some motivation.
Last year, Cornell got Yale in the regular season, albeit a much closer game than this so far. And then Yale beat the Big Red in the Ivy League semifinal. 10 saves now for Jared Paquette. Had 13 last week against Denver. He's been in double digits every game this year. Under 90 seconds to go in the third quarter. How about Brad Sharp?
Good look there from Sharp. And looking at this midfield, you've got Krevsky against Boxen, just the size advantage there. I would clear out of his way. Well, here comes Adler.
And he forces a low pass. Sharp comes up with the ball. 1 minute to go in the third quarter. Cornell has outscored Yale 4-1 in this frame. And Erlin just stops Johnson right on the doorstep, and you can see the shoulders just shrug and sink of Leo Johnson.
Yeah, Cornell had dropped into his zone there, and just you don't want to let guys get open on the crease, but he get open on the crease, and Chase Erlin makes that save.
Erlin with 15 saves. CJ Kirst over for Ryan Sheehan. Final 10 seconds of the third. Pass got knocked down. It is loose underneath of Michael Long, and Paquette finally has it. And that runs out the third quarter clock. Cornell took an 8-goal lead into the half. They'll take an 11-goal lead to the fourth quarter, up 16-5.
Find out where that road leads. Take on any challenge. When you have the #1 mass market brand and dependability, you stop thinking about what you can't do and start doing what you never thought possible. Kia, movement that inspires.
I've been making pizza for years. Now I make them playable. They pick the toppings, I pick my lucky numbers. Everybody wins, right?
There's a lot of love for the Pennsylvania Lottery. And when you see how fun it is, you'll understand why.
Make a move in the most electrifying Honda vehicles yet. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
If I just stare at these payroll forms, my business payroll taxes will calculate themselves, right? Nope.
Intuit QuickBooks helps you manage your payroll taxes.
Cheers.
With 100% accurate tax calculations guaranteed.
Folks, you look at the upcoming schedule around here in New Haven. Yale baseball will have its home opener on Wednesday, 3 o'clock. Softball Saturday against Columbia for 3 games. And all baseball and softball games are free admission this season. Here, we start the fourth quarter, and Pat Reed, it has been all Columbia today, a 16-5 lead. Here's Mac Rodriguez for Brandow, missing wide. That's the first shot of the game for Brandow. Yale will keep the ball here.
A little misspeak there, but I think Yale today wishes they were playing Columbia and not Cornell, because Cornell has had their way all day.
Big Red up 16-5. Ranked 7th in the polls coming into this week by Inside Lacrosse. And, well, they've put on a show so far. Thomas Bragg, he scores. 4th of the year for Bragg. And it's back to 10. 31 seconds into the fourth.
Bragg just a north-south dodge. No help there, a little alley dodge, and just gets in his right hand and puts a bounce shot past Erlin.
Faceoffs have evened up. It's now only a 13-12 advantage for Cornell. Mac Rodriguez has done a good job in the third quarter, and now the fourth in that spot. Loose ball here, and Hackler comes up with it for Yale, but runs right into a triple team, and Cornell gets the ball right back. Nope, they're going to call a hold against the Big Red, so it's Yale ball. And head coach Connor Busick did not like that call.
I think that's the difference between Division I coaches and myself, is that at this point, if you're up this many goals, I'd be like, okay. But he's still out, he's arguing that call.
And Bragg is down after Erlin made the stop on that shot, and they're going to stop play here and check on him. And yeah, Coach Busick is still somewhat incensed at the moment. As you said, you would never know it's a 16-6 game the way he's still going. Good news for Yale is that Bragg is back up quickly and jogging over to the sideline by himself as you look again at this. Big hit after the shot.
And a good hit, shoulder to the middle of the chest. It just, sometimes you're after you've made that, you've passed that, you shot that ball, it just puts you at a position where you're exposed.
Erlin just has to heave this across, and Kirst got it. And now Kelleher bobbling it up and down in his stick, and finally he has it. 6 points for Coyle today. A goal and 5 assists. Kirst has 4 goals, 3 goals for Long, 2 goals and assist for Blake. Kelleher and Wertheim also with multi-point games.
I really cannot talk enough about how good Cornell looks at ground balls today. They are just swarming every ball, and it just seems like every time that ball touches the ground, they're winning that possession.
"15 seconds to shoot. Coyle out in front, and Ryan Sheehan scores.
Cornell is making this personal. This is just, we're going to keep going at you. We're going to keep going at you.
"17 goals ties the season high for the Big Red, but if you're being honest, doing it against Yale is a lot different than doing it against Hobart. A push here against Cornell, so it's Yale ball.
I'm curious if I'm Coach Shea, and he's over there saying, I don't know how you don't call that a push with possession. The ball is in his stick. He pushes him down. That's got to be a push with possession. That should be a time-serving penalty and not just giving the ball to Yale.
Tell you what, both of these coaches are giving the same official an earful right now.
Well, and there's been a couple of questionable calls. The hit on Box, the hit on Brandow. I mean, things that you really, you kind of, a chippy game like this, you have to make those calls to keep things in control so that guys don't get hurt.
Carson Kuhl for Johnson. 3 gone by in the 4th. Cornell has led this game since it was 3-2 back in the first quarter. Sharp has been quiet today. Brandow trying to keep that goal-scoring streak alive, which is the longest in the country. Up over 40 games. Kuhl shoots, and Erlin's got another save. 17 for Chase Erlin.
Yale really struggling with the Cornell zone, and that's just a shot with no angle.
Adler's had another fantastic day. The first team All-American stepped out of bounds. No assists for Yale on any of the goals today. 9 assists on the 17 goals for Cornell. Leo Johnson. Good catch by Lyons. Erlin, another save. He is just unconscious right now.
You get looks, you get an inside look, and Chase Erlin just, this is a dominant performance. This is, TD going 100% of the X. This is.
Well, the thing about Erlin is, even though they lost last week, Cornell did, he was incredible against Penn State. And it appears this performance will not be in vain like last week's was. 10 minutes to go here in New Haven. J.J. Lombardi switching hands with it. Slings it for Kirst. He lost it. And it's picked up by Garchi Terrena, the sophomore from New York City.
And this Yale defense has just played so much. And Yale throws it away. And they're going to have to go back to work.
Ivy League opener for everybody today. Harvard and Brown started in Providence at 1 o'clock. It's a 5-3 lead for Harvard at the moment. And Princeton and Penn will be tonight at 7. Here's Brandow. He shoots and he scores. So Brandow gets his first, and that goal-scoring streak does extend to 45 games in a row.
Yeah, unsettled. Kind of the Cornell defense is looking to try to have everybody match up, and Walker Wallace ends up on Matt Brandow, and he just slides and can get that shot off before Gavin Adler can help on the slide there. Gavin Adler, just such a great off-ball defender, just a second late on that one.
Face-off win for Mac Rodriguez. He streaks all the way in, and Erlin makes the save. Back over the top. Remember Erlin last year in the NCAA tournament game against Ohio State actually scored a goal. It was the first goal for a Cornell goalie since 1990. When we were talking with Coach Busick yesterday, he was saying, we have some guys that crossed over back from 2020 that are still with us, as Kelleher backs this one out. Good pass in front. Good save, though, by Paquette on Michael Long. Kirst is going to come up with the ground ball here, though. But anyway, he said most of those guys were not really impactful back then. So their impact on our program, at least on the field, really only started last year. But Erlin's kind of the main guy that was part of the group in 19 and 20, and he's still your starting goalie. And you can see how good he is.
Just a tremendous player, and it looks like Yale's stepping into a zone here.
Halfway through the fourth quarter. Long again, gives it up. What a shot from Ryan Sheehan. 18-7, Cornell. Sheehan scores his second of the game. Couldn't have placed it any more perfectly. And with 7:20 to go in the fourth, we'll take a break. Big Red up by 11.
You know what that sound means. It's spring break at Bob's Discount Furniture. And no matter your sleep style or budget, I have a world-famous Bob-O-Pedic mattress for hundreds less than national brands. Like this Bob-O-Pedic Prize Queen mattress for just $5.99. And this cool-to-the-touch copper sport with innovative copper threads. Catch major Z's on my signature gel with charcoal. With 30 years of sleep experience and the best warranties in the biz, you can take a break from the mattress guessing game this spring break at Bob's.
What's he doing?
He's cleaning the trash cans.
Oh, boy. Meeting a new young homeowner for the first time is a unique challenge.
So you think you can help?
I can try. Hey, what you doing?
Just cleaning my trash cans.
Wow. It's important to build trust. See, you put your address and phone number on here.
Well, you can never be too safe.
With trash?
Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents, but we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with us.
Don't look at the hedges, they're a mess.
No one's looking at the hedges.
I have two passions. Knitting and playing the PA lottery. She does all the modeling for my store. What do I get with my winnings? More yarn, of course.
There's a lot of love for the Pennsylvania Lottery. And when you see how fun it is, you'll understand why.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody's gonna slow me down. Oh no, I'll never keep on moving. Ain't nothing gonna break my stride.
Wherever you are, be there with Starbucks ready-to-drink coffee.
Incredible performance today by Chase Erlin. 19 saves on 26 shots on goal. Cornell up 18-7 on the road here as Ramsey wins the faceoff. Justin Galanti, Pat Reed, and our entire crew, glad you're with us. Chris Lyons with the ball for Yale. Trying to maybe build some momentum into next week as this game winds down. Hard to imagine, Pat, that after the day ends, outside of, I guess, Maryland potentially upsetting Virginia, it'd be hard to imagine that the national storyline is not this result from Cornell.
Yeah, and this is going to be the second time that a Yale loss is going to be the big storyline. That first loss to Penn State when everybody thought it was just this aberration that Penn State beats a ranked team. And then, now Yale just really getting manhandled by Cornell today. You got to imagine last time when they played Penn State, they dropped a lot in the polls. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see them, down very close to 19. This is one of those things that voters just kind of go knee-jerk reaction and push them way down or don't put them in the polls.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the other question I guess you ask yourself after this, because Penn State, of course, beat Cornell last week, is how good is Penn State?
Cornell.
Here's Aiden Blake moving his way in. His shot ends up behind the net.
Penn State beat Cornell, but Penn State beat Cornell without Michael Long. And if you look at this offense, the Cornell offense putting up 18 goals, he's a difference maker. You look at.
There's a good feed for Hackler. Another save for Erlin. Lyons gets the rebound and scores. Hat trick for Chris Lyons.
If you look at what people have been saying about this Cornell offense and the Cornell fans have been saying online about, listen, we need Michael Long back to be the distributor on this offense, and you're seeing a huge difference in what they're able to do once you put him out there.
Lions now with 21 goals this year through almost 5 full games. And he is the only Yale player with multiple goals today.
But the other guy that you're really seeing have a day is Billy Coyle. What's he got, 6-7 assists right now?
Yeah, goal and 6 assists for Coyle. One of the best days of his career. Quickly, Yale going. Johnson scores. Number 2 for Leo Johnson.
Good ball movement, good talk there from Johnson, calling that ball to get above goal line extended from Brandau and be able to finish there on Erlin. But this is, again, where 5 minutes left in the game, a 9-goal lead. And you think about when Virginia played a few weeks back and they built this huge lead on Harvard, and then Harvard put a bunch of goals in at the end, and the stat line, the score looks different than what we saw all the game.
Back to Coyle, who's playing in his 33rd career game today for Cornell. He had 16 points in his season so far before today. 13 goals, 3 assists. He has a goal and 6 assists today. And a timeout taken by Connor Busick with 4:46 to go, and his team up 18-9.
And Coach Busick there, always making every situation a learning opportunity. And he saw just kind of this unsettled situation on the offensive end and said, hey, even though we're up, we need to stop. We need to slow this down and just let's play smart here. And he's really just doing that. So, and you know, we're looking at the Cornell defense with, I think it's Coach Stevens in there, whose defense just done a fantastic job against this, you know, Yale offense that was top 10. Number 8 in their scoring offense, and now Cornell has just done such a great job with shutting them down.
Last year, Connor Busick was the Ivy League Coach of the Year. You mentioned him being Cornell through and through, 2015 grad. He was a 3-time All-American as a player, 5 seasons as an assistant on the Cornell staff before taking over as the head coach. Got off to a 5-0 start in 2020. Obviously did not play another game until 2022. Took his team to the national championship game last year, very highly ranked to start this season. Preseason Ivy League favorite, and they've made a statement here in the Ivy League opener.
And one of the things that Connor Busick was saying is, you know, when he was a freshman, he didn't even make the travel roster for a lot of the games, and just decided that he had to put that work in. He was actually an ex-attackman coming out of high school in Cincinnati, Ohio, and converted to midfield, and that was a big transition for him. And so then finally he was able to crack that code and came into it his sophomore year.
Paquette is out of the net here for Yale. It's just over 4 to go. Kirst fires and scores. 5-goal day for Kirst. And the Big Red back up by 10.
And Kirst, the double team there from Paquette, and he's just too far out there. They're, you know, doubling the ball. And in that situation, he's got to do a better job of just shutting off Kirst, because the last person you want to be the guy having to double that ball is your goalie.
Ramsey trying to pick up that loose ball, and instead, guess who? It's Adler. What a day for the senior out of Hewlett, New York. Gavin Adler, that is his 9th ground ball. He's caused a couple turnovers. And, you know, at 5'8", 180, he is a guy who might be the most impactful player on the field for Cornell.
Well, I know the Tewaaraton Award only goes to guys who play offense, but I'm looking at him and saying that this is the not just pound-for-pound best player in college lacrosse right now, but he is the best player, hands down, in college lacrosse right now after this performance.
3:10 to go. Cornell will be 5-1, 1-0 in the Ivy League. And next week will be at home against Penn. That game will be on Sunday. Yale going to drop to 3-2 and 0-1 in conference play. Next Saturday, they will be on the road in New Jersey against the Princeton Tigers. Kirst in front now. It's Coyle. He scores. And that's an exclamation point. A 20-goal performance for Cornell.
Wow, and that's just, I mean, that just has to kill you as a team. That's Walker Wallace, kind of gets the ball. He's way up at the top of the box and just finding right open on the doorstep. And after you've killed, you know, you're doing this defense to try to force a turnover, trying to get the ball back, and Cornell holds it until there's less than 10 seconds left on the shot clock and then scores.
Hackler picks this one up for the Bulldogs. Out in front of the pack. Hackler stopped by Erlin. 20 saves for Chase Erlin. 21 now. I'll tell you what, if you had said Connor Busick before the game today, Pat, your goalie's going to have 20 saves and you're going to score 20 goals, I think he would have taken that.
And honestly, if you could, I don't know if they can see him on the sideline. He is chewing the ref's ear off, complaining about calls. He is just a competitor. And here's Cornell just taking all the time off. Down to 30 seconds in the possession. No intention to go to the goal until they take the time off.
20 seconds to shoot. And just over a minute to go in the game. And it looks like they'll just take the shot clock violation here. Actually, timeout.
Listen, I'm going to go out on I'm going to say something here. This is just my opinion. That is the worst timeout. That is just, there's 53 seconds left. I know you want to coach your team, but you're up 20. You're up 10. Like, let's unless he's in there saying, hey, let's not do anything dumb in the last 53 seconds. Just play it out. 53 seconds. You've given up the ball. Let's let this game end.
Well, a top 10 matchup has been all visitors today. A 20-9 Cornell lead. Big Red have gotten big contributions from guys like Billy Coyle with an 8-point game. CJ Kirst with 5 goals, 4 points, 3 goals and assists in the season debut of Michael Long. And they're going to walk out of here with a lot of smiles on their face on the way back to Ithaca.
And you see Chase Erlin getting back to his goal. A lot of tape on that left ankle. It was really kind of hobbling, but didn't impact his performance at all.
So Cornell just takes the shot clock violation out of the timeout. And 46 seconds to go. See what Yale does in the last moments of this game. That's knocked down, but ends up through to Kyle Zawadzki for the Bulldogs. Leo Johnson for Zawadzki, deflected. Michael Bawsey had it for a moment for the Big Red. Clock running under 20, and the ball's still loose until Carson Kuhl has it. Leo Johnson shooting and scoring. Difficult play by Leo Johnson, and he gets his 3rd of the day.
And a great goal by Johnson there to just seize on that unsettled situation and get Yale to that 10-goal threshold, which, again, may look a little bit better on paper, but it is. Cornell has done put on a clinic today, and just an amazing job.
They'll run out the rest of this clock. And what an impressive performance on the road by Cornell. They beat Yale 20-10, and the Big Reds start 1-0 in Ivy League play.
And this is what Cornell needed. This is the step they need. You lose that game to Penn State, and you come out and you put on a dominant performance, and you state your claim for being a top 5 team in the country.
Outstanding performance by the visitors. Again, now 5-1 and 1-0 in the Ivy League. Yale now 3-2 and 0-1 in league play. That'll do it for all of us from New Haven. For our entire crew and my partner Pat Reed, I'm Justin Galanti saying good afternoon. Cornell, the winner on the road, 20-10.
Make a move in the most electrifying Honda vehicles yet. online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
I used to wait to run my dishwasher till it was super full. Now, I dish differently. I run it daily. Weekdays. Weekends. Sometimes after a big snack. You might think that's wasteful, but it's not. Because even half loads use 80% less water than hand washing, saving up to $130 a year on utilities. And with Cascade Platinum Plus, you just scrape, load, done. So next time you're waiting to run it, just run it. Dare to dish differently.
This is how Peloton does after hours.
Are y'all excited to be here?
In the early evening with a mug of hot tea.
You're damn right.
With the one, the only, me, Cody Rigsby.
All right, y'all ready to dance? Now, friends, this is a talk show on wheels full of pop culture obsessions, celebrity confessions.
So pop, lock, and side-eye, boo. This is gonna be an LOL.
Are y'all ready? Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Good checkup? No, great checkup. Nailed it again.
Keep up the good work. For great checkups, Crest has you covered because Crest Pro Health protects 100% of your mouth for 24 hours.
I did it again.
I told you it works. And for stronger teeth that last, there's Densify.
Like bones, your teeth lose density over time, but Crest has you covered. Crest Densify actively rebuilds tooth density to extend the life of teeth.
Crest.
Baseball is back.
The greatest game ever.
White Sox, Astros, opening night, Thursday, March 30th on ESPN.